go because you know what I came in to do.
I don't get paid for overtime. I'm here to fight.
Spar and mix it with some top guys as well, so it's been great to go and work with Fraser.
Real question is, were you really up for stepping up to AJ?
100%.
Really?
I didn't want to. I was thinking about saying I'll go and put my name forward if I need to, but I didn't want to come across arrogant or brash saying, "Oh look, I'm ready to step in." There's obviously got 10, 20 other guys who are at higher world level that they could have asked for. But if Eddie next to me here said, "Johnny, can you come in and save the show?" Not that I could save the show. I'm not saying I'm that important, but if they needed me to step in, I would have definitely stepped in.
This is an absolute joke. So you were willing to step in to face world-ranked Anthony Joshua, but you're fighting for the Southern Area title against Harry Armstrong, who in his last fight lost to Jamie TKV. Now, maybe the British Boxing Board couldn't explain it to me because, you know, like people say I'm a shill, Eddie must have pulled some strings to get Harry Armstrong to fight for that vacant Southern Area strap rather than Jamie, who beat Harry in his last fight on points. And when Bass, the kid, asked Eddie, why aren't you fighting Jamie TKV rather than Harry Armstrong? Eddie was saying, oh, well, maybe he could be the next fight for Johnny. In other words, saying he wasn't ready for that. But here's Johnny talking about you would have stepped in to fight AJ. Concentrate on your fight on Saturday and stop talking rubbish. If Johnny's level of ambition was that high, he would have demanded to fight Jamie TKV for that Southern Area title. I once heard a boxing person say every fight is an eliminator. And going by that logic, Harry Armstrong should be eliminated for competing for the Southern Area title. Some bullcrap. So the fallout from the IBF Cruiserweight purse bid yesterday, where Riakporhe withdrew on the day of the fight from the purse bid, similar to what Fraser Clark did with the British heavyweight title fight against Fabio Wardley. Like, Eddie's got a point. Do I believe Richard decided to pull out? No, I don't believe that. No more than I believe that Fraser Clark opted to pull out. Fraser was obviously upset that he was withdrawn from that purse bid. And that's not me saying that to pick a side. The interviews are out there. Here's one with IFL. He's saying he was broken when they withdrew him on the day of the purse bid.
I'm sure from your perspective, you still would have gone in the ring with Fabio Wardley and fought him. So from a contractual point of view, did Boxer have the right to pull you out that purse bid, Fraser?
Did they have the right? I suppose, it's one of them, like, obviously a few people have said it's probably a little bit of inexperience from me in terms of knowing who's in control and who's not. But remember, I wouldn't say like it was like something that was, it was an option, but you have to remember, and I keep seeing all these people.
That's a yes or no answer. Now, I don't know what Richard's situation is, but do I believe that was his decision? No. And it's not because I'm siding with Matchroom. That's pathetic. I mean, I'm not going to go into this one too much because I've went over it a lot. But Richard pulled out on the day of the purse bid. And like October made a good point that the board might have to start asking some questions like, well, should we actually put you forward to participate in purse bids if you're going to pull out on the day? I mean, why not just withdraw as soon as your name is called up? Why wait until the day? Why are they doing it on the day? Are they trying to inconvenience Matchroom in their scheduling? What is it exactly? But what's the truth? Like, the only successful pay-per-view they've had is Brook versus Khan. They spent up a lot of money purchasing Matchroom fighters. And now it looks like they ain't got the money to compete with the bids. It's either that, well, it's probably a combination of both. They can't compete with the bids, and they don't want the fights to go on the zone. A bit of both. And look, it's just a matter of time before somebody becomes a casualty, not taking their world title shots, not taking their British title shots. Whether that's Buatsi, whether that's Aziz, whether that's Richard Riakporhe, whether that's Fraser Clark. There's going to be a casualty soon. It's going to be a big fallout. And it's just a matter of time before Ben gets exposed. Big time. Well, he's exposed already, in all truth. But with dire consequences with a boxer's career in his hands. Dan Aziz and Buatsi turning down Bivol fights. Just a coincidence. They weren't coerced or contractually bound to do so. Fraser Clark and Riakporhe bailing out on purse bids on the day of the purse bid. Both of them. without being coerced or contractually bound to do so, well, you can believe what you want. Like that 50p under your pillow when you was a kid. You believe the tooth fairy put it there, but it wasn't. You can believe what you want.
When you tell a fighter to put out a statement, mate, I'll tell you something now. You need to get a backbone.
Big up October Red. The video's in the description box. Eddie goes off. He goes off. You need to watch it. But did you hear what Eddie said? You're getting boxers to go make statements for you. Get a backbone. And he's right. I went on YouTube and I put Ben Shalom's name in the search engine to see if he's posted up any videos in the last 2 days. No. So he's pulling his fighters out of purse bids on the day of fights, denying the boxing fans the fights and not even explaining why. And why is he doing that? Because after he pulled Fraser Clark out, the boxing fans, they trashed him. And now he can't face the music, but because he's so inconsequential right now, nobody's pointing it out and nobody's saying, well, Ben, come out and explain yourself. Because they don't take Ben serious, so they're not even asking him to do that. Name one mainstream sporting outlet who is asking these questions what I'm asking. Where's Ben Shalom to explain why Richard Riakporhe has done the same thing what Fraser Clark's done? Where is he? Trying to work on some alibi.
Working on your alibi.
Now, if Eddie or Frank were to pull their fighter out on the day of the purse bid, they'd be held to pay in the media for the both of them. So the Polish cruiser Masternak, he pulled out of a purse bid with Jai Opetaia. Jai, obviously frustrated, wants to get back in the ring, wants to defend his belt. He's looking to take a voluntary while his mandatory situation sorts itself out. But Ben Shalom is now talking about Masternak could be fighting Chris Billiam Smith. Is that a bit of a coincidence that he pulls out of the Opetaia purse bid and now he's fighting Billiam Smith? But apparently Okoli has activated his rematch clause, so who knows what's going on there. So no Masternak. Jai wants to take a voluntary, but Ben Shalom says no. Jai has to fight Richard Riakporhe, and he's adamant that this fight is going down. He writes a letter to the IBF demanding that Jai Opetaia doesn't fight, only for them to pull out on the day of the purse bid. And no, I don't believe Richard and Fraser Clark are making these decisions for themselves. No. And anyone who does believe that, you need to grow up. The question is if Matchroom get in another purse bid situation with Boxer, what do they do with the pattern that's developing with Fraser Clark, Fabio, Wardley, with Richard Riakporhe, Jai Opetaia? What do they do? Why are not the media highlighting what's going on here? Why have the British Boxing Board of Control not had some type of input? What you have to remember, Ben Shalom's promoter's license is with the British Boxing Board of Control, and so is Eddie Hearn's. And Ben Shalom is just pulling his fighters out of purse bids. And he's not even got the bottle to come out and say himself why it's happening. He's hiding. You know, I went on YouTube to see if he's been on video in the last week or so. Nothing came up. Nothing. Richard Riakporhe pulls out of a purse bid for a world title fight. And you're not going to address the boxing fans? What about the Sky boxing fans who may have wanted to see Ben Shalom put in a purse bid for Fabio Wardley versus Fraser Clark? And they're getting Dave Allen instead. Dave Allen, who was turned down by the British Boxing Board of Control to fight Fabio Wardley for the British title, deeming him an inappropriate challenger. So you're just selling him a shit show over there. Or Richard Riakporhe's fans. Doesn't he have any fans who are thinking, yo, you're pulling our guy out of a world title fight and you're talking about an announcement is imminent, and didn't have the courage to address the Sky boxing fans yourself? You're just staying silent, hiding? Don't worry. Base the Kid or October Red will find Ben Shalom, and they'll ask him the question that a lot of these guys just happen to be avoiding asking. The Fabio Wardley, David Adeleye purse bid was today, but it's been delayed. It looks like they're trying to get a deal done with Fabio and Francis Warren. I don't know, maybe Dillian feels Eddie's thrown him under the bus with this PD situation, and they might just talk to TNT and the Warrens directly and cut a deal that way. I don't think Eddie will stop Fabio going over there. We'll see how that one pans out. I'll wait for more information. It looks like Eddie wanted to tie Fabio up into a multi-fight deal before going through with the purse bid, because he has to shell out a lot of money. Champion gets 60% of the pot, so Eddie could pay out a whole load of money and pay Fabio, and then find he's no options on what he does next. because this is going to be a career highest purse for Fabio, whatever the bid is, from either Frank Warren or Eddie. It's going to be a career highest purse. I fell for the okie doke for a little while, but when you think about it, like David Haye said, Derek told him that Dillian was going to pop a week or so before he did. But these two are friends, and David Haye is a good salesman, you know. Like when he started that beef with Eddie Hearn in the Tony Bellew press conference saying apples and pears, Eddie this and that, Eddie was like, oh man, he's coming at me. When the cameras are off, Eddie said, David was going, oh, do you think that would get a lot of views? Do you think that would get a lot of views? Yeah, that's who you're dealing with, you know. And Derek and David are friends, and yeah, they had a little laugh. They've got no receipts to prove that they knew of any tests beforehand. None at all. Anyone could have come out and said that. They didn't know Dillian was going to pop. No, they didn't. You know, and a lot of people fell for it. Dillian was set up to get Derek a title shot. Anyway, it's all good. Saturday's event won't be pay-per-view. Looks like AJ's took a major hit in the pocket to go through with this fight. And it seemed that AJ and Matchroom weren't going to extend the budget to pay out for Derek Chisora's fight. Prince Khalid bankrolled the whole fight, Derek's and Gerald Washington's purses. Well, why would they do that, you're asking? It's not their promotion. Well, Derek works for them in a promotional capacity, and what greater promotion than have him on an Anthony Joshua card on DAZN for what I'm assuming is supposed to take place later that year with AJ Wilder and obviously Usyk as the skills challenge deal. All Derek has to do now is win, which I think he will. Otto Wallin. I think we're going to find out a lot about Otto Wallin if this fight comes through against Murat Gassiev. Wallin hasn't fought since January for some reason. He took on a Mexican-American, Helman Olguin, who is 39 years of age. 9 wins, 4 inside the distance, 6 losses, 3 of them losses inside the distance, 1 draw. The likes of Terrell Jamal Woods, 25, 49 and 9 stopped him. Another guy with a losing record stopped him. But he managed to take Otto Wallin the distance this year. Okay, I get the argument that Otto's not a puncher. He's effective, but he can't punch. But how do you not even get a knockdown against this guy? And how does he keep Murat Gassiev off him if he can't budge guys like that? I would argue in his defense that his lack of brutality could be a deception, but does he have enough tools from that southpaw stance to offset his lack of brutality and defeat a Murat Gassiev? Otto's 32, 6'5.5", 78-inch reach. Murat Gassiev, 6'3.5", 76-inch reach. He's 29 years of age. I would also argue that the fights that Otto Wallin wins, he wins by a wide margin, and it doesn't look like he pressures himself to up the gear. That doesn't mean he can up the gear, but he seems comfortable to fight at that one pace once he's established technical superiority, because he is a very technical boxer. That's not to say that Gassiev can't box. We saw against Dorticus he can definitely box. The temptation is to compare Wallin's southpaw stance to Usyk's southpaw stance. Now, Wallin is still living off that Tyson Fury performance. He's still living off that. Dominic Brazil, probably his best win. Gassiev has been inactive since he lost to Usyk. I don't think he's fought no one nowhere near the level of Dominic Brazil at heavy. And neither does Gassiev. He was a great cruiserweight, came up short against Usyk. Wallin came up short against Tyson Fury. Gassiev, mid-range hooker, good left hooker, good body puncher. We didn't really see it much because he had to try and take it to the front foot against Tyson Fury. But Wallin is a counter puncher, and a good one. And has a very good backhand, the left hand. And yes, he can make it very difficult for Gassiev and make him look bad. He has a good chin too, Wallin. It seems so anyway, and Gassiev seems to have a good chin. It looks like it's got distance fight written all over it. If it does end inside the limit, that's in Gassiev's favour. The fight hasn't been finalised, so this is not a final prediction. Hope it's made. Hope the fight's made. I mentioned the fight to Blue Collar on his channel. He's got Gassiev winning. And perhaps Wallin's lack of firepower could come back to hurt him. in a tight fight, but we'll see. Some of you might be wondering, why are you highlighting this fight so much? Because these are two heavyweights who are languishing around fringe contender spots, and they really need each other. They haven't been able to get any of the familiar names in the ring, champions or contenders. And this is what the other heavyweights in a similar position should be doing. They shouldn't be waiting around for AJ or Fury to call them out. They certainly shouldn't be doing that.